So the Minnesota Timberwolves are 10-1 in their last 11 games, absolutely on fire, one of the hottest teams in the league right now. After making this video, they're 12 games above 500, they're the 7th seed in the tough Western Conference. Honestly, it's great to see the Wolves be a good team because ever since I started watching the NBA, they have just always been a laughingstock of the league. But to be honest, I think the Wolves are like better than your regular 7th seed in the conference. I think the Wolves are a team that's ready to make some type of noise in this year's playoffs. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why I think the Timberwolves will make some noise in this year's playoffs. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video because it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, you want to go 3,000 subscribers. Also, drop a comment on this video because I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. First reason I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are ready to make some noise because the Timberwolves are straight up one of the best offenses in the league. Now to make it into this video, the Timberwolves rank 6th in the league in offensive rating, and it's pretty understandable. They have some of the really good offensive players on the team. First of all, they have Octane Towns, who might be one of the most underrated players in the league. He's definitely one of the most underrated centers because I know he's not on the level of guys like Embiid or Jokic, but honestly, I don't think he's worlds behind him. Some people be acting like that. He's having a phenomenal year, averaging 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 52% from the field and 41% from 3. In my opinion, he's the best shooting big man in NBA history, and he just opens up this whole Wolves offense so much because when you have a center who is one of the best shooters in the league, it makes the defense have to be like stick to him, and it just opens the floor for so much people because with most centers, at best, they're like an average 3-point shooter, so the defense can kind of sag off them. With Karl-Anthony Towns, you can't sag off him at all. He's definitely a top 20 shooter in the league right now, and he's definitely one of the best pick and roll and pick and pop scorers in the league. I think we all know how good Karl-Anthony Towns is. We also got to talk about Anthony Edwards. He's taken a huge leap from his rookie year. He's shown, like in his rookie year, he was showing signs of being an all-star level player, but now he is an all-star level player. He's averaging 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on solid efficiency, one of the best scorers in the league. I think he's a guy who has the potential to be a superstar, top 15 player in the league, but regardless, when it comes to this year, I think he's just going to be amazing. He's one of the best shot creators in the league. He's not elite, but he's still pretty good, one of the best slashers in the league, one of the most athletic players in the league. And the reason I think Anthony Edwards is someone who's going to excel in the playoffs so well is because of his mindset. We all hear these quotes about him not being scared of anyone and all this, and how he likes when other top players in the league are guarding him, saying he's going to shoot it every time. That type of mentality will lead him to do well in the playoffs. Maybe he won't be efficient because he's going to take some dumb shots, but at least if he plays bad, you know it's not because he was scared of the pressure or anything like that. And I just love that about Anthony Edwards. That's why he's one of my favorite players in the league. I honestly could see him being the Wolves' best players on a lot of nights in the playoffs. Next, I gotta talk about D'Angelo Russell, who is really underrated as well. Before, he was a little bit overrated, but since coming to the Wolves, he's now become a little bit underrated. He's still one of the best guards in the league. People forget that. He runs this offense perfectly with his play style, and he's just always calm, never rushed. He's a really solid scorer. He used to be one of the worst defenders in the league, but now he's fixed that up. He's actually one of the better guard defenders. Not because he's like a lockdown. I'm not going to go ask him to go guard Steph Curry or something, but he's just so smart with his communicating, one of the best communicators in the league on defense, and he has really high IQ, always in the right spot at the right time. And on top of that, he's still giving them 18.7 assists on whatever efficiency. I want to say he's an all-star level player, but definitely above average starter. And surrounding their big three, they have a bunch of role players who are prone to go off on any given night. Jalen McDaniels, he can occasionally give you a big night. He's really underrated too. Malik Beasley on fire at times, could look like one of the best players on this team. He's kind of been disappointing me this season. I thought he was going to be like an all-star level guy. Been really inefficient and inconsistent. Torrey Prince is a guy who could get on fire from 3 randomly. Jalen Noel could definitely step up. He's definitely one of the most underrated players off the bench. This team just has some guys who they can go to hope they can have a big game. And to be honest, their role players are not the most reliable role players in the world. They don't have a Lou Williams in his prime or something. They don't have one of the best bench players in the league on offense. But I think in the playoffs, they could just get one of their role players to just step up and I think that guy's going to be Malik Beasley, because if he gets on fire in the playoffs, he could be a guy averaging like 18 to 20 points easily. And then they just have their other role players not like sell the bag. This team can be really scary because they'll have Towns and Edwards, who are guys I think can average over 25 points per game in a series. Then D'Angelo can give them a solid 16 to 18. This team's going to be a team you don't want to verse. Next reason I think the Minnesota Timberwolves will make some noise in the playoffs is because this is a young team. And sometimes when a team is young, that could actually be a negative for them in the playoffs because they're not experienced, they might underperform, they might like be scared of the pressure, stuff like that. When I look at the young talent on this Timberwolves roster, yes, they're young, but they're not young enough to where I think they're going to be bad, if you know what I mean. Because of the culture. I actually think Patrick Beverley is really impactful to the culture because the players are just way more tough-minded. Because before, when Jimmy Butler was there, they had Andrew Wiggins, Karl-Anthony Towns. Those guys were like soft. But now Wiggins is gone, and Towns clearly is way more tough as a player. And I think Patrick Beverley has really motivated him because, like, he's just coming here and now they're like fighting, trash talking a little bit more. You know, they weren't doing that in the past. And I actually think Towns is going to be really motivated this playoffs because last time he was in the playoffs, this guy got outplayed by Clint Capella, who's just a really good center, but not Karl-Anthony Towns. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't want that to happen again. Then D'Angelo Russell, he's been to the playoffs one time and he wasn't really that good. He lost in 5 games to the Sixers. So I'm pretty sure he's going to try to make up for that. But I actually could see D'Angelo Russell struggling because, like, especially if he's versing the team with a good defensive point guard. Anthony Edwards is someone who I think will really break out and show he's the real deal. I think he's going to be the breakout star of the playoffs, from being honest. I could see him being the team's leading scorer in the playoffs. And honestly, I think this team is going to be like the young OKC Thunder. Not as good and probably not go as deep, but I think there's going to be a team that gives teams problems. You shouldn't want to face them. I don't really know if they're going to upset anyone in the first round, but I don't think they're just going to get swept, if you know what I mean. So when you look at the standings, it's really unlikely that the Timberwolves fall back further than the 8th seed. Basically impossible unless they just turn trash. And honestly, I think they can pass Denver for the 6th seed because they're only a game and a half back. They're only half a game back. And for them to get the 5th seed, it's not impossible. They're a game and a half back. I would say they don't get the 5th seed because the Mavericks have been really good as of late, and I don't see them like falling out. But to be honest, I think they're going to get the 6th or 7th seed. I think they'll probably be good in the play-in tournament. And that means they're probably going to have to face the Grizzlies or the Warriors in the playoffs. I think they should want to rather face the Grizzlies because it's kind of a better matchup, because although the Grizzlies have better defenders to like throw at Karl-Anthony Towns, the Warriors are just a better defensive team, especially on the perimeter. And the way they run their defense, I feel like it could give a lot of players on this team problems. And the Warriors are just great. We haven't seen Memphis in the playoffs besides last year, and last year they lost in 5 games. So to be honest, I think a series versus the Wolves and the Timberwolves would go like pretty close. I think I'd still have to go with the Grizzlies because obviously they're the better team, they're a higher seed, but I think it could be a close 6 or 7 game series. Like, when you look at the talent for talent between the two teams, there's not that much of a difference, because I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns is way worse than John Morant. And then Anthony Edwards is better than anyone else. Like, there's like Memphis is second best player, and D'Angelo Russell is like pretty solid, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, Minnesota's been pretty solid this year. Impressive to see. Great to see. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know whether or not you think the Wolves are going to go far in this year's playoffs. Drop a like on this video on my channel grows. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, want to see me reach my goal of 3,000 subscribers. Also, drop a comment on this video because I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro.